Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Dating Over 50. This is D-Love. We're here to conclude our last episode with Drob and his views and opinions on dating over 50. So here we go. Then that's when you say, but I still want to take the slow thing. Is that kind of maybe when it happens, when you committed to her as on a one-on-one relationship?
Of course, I mean, I can't come to you the first day we meet and say, hey, we got to take it slow. No, 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 no. First, we got to have that commitment, right? Hey, it's just me, you, we're not dating anybody else. At that point, that's when we need to discuss it because now we're going to the next level of marriage.
If we talk about a time frame or we talk about, then I do need the communication to tell me that we're still on track, we're still doing well. And I've heard some people talk about doing these checkups where you just kind of check in and say, hey, how are we doing? Where are we in this? Because again, we do, as women, we start looking at, okay, he used to call me every day. Now he calls me every other day. And, we used to see each other, 3 or 4 times a week. Now he only sees me twice. And so we start thinking that, okay, then he must have fallen out of love or like with me because now, things are changing. But in your mind, you could just be, like you say, we get to that comfortable point. Okay, she's cool. She's the one. I'm good, but I still need to go and spend some time with my fellas or doing other things that I may have neglected in the beginning of our relationship. And it has nothing at all to do with her, but she doesn't know that. Kind of what happens too when we put this time horizon out there that we're thinking, okay, so now if everything doesn't stay the way it was, then that must mean something is wrong. It then puts on a woman mindset of, okay, now I'm watching for signals the whole time. And so to me, the communication would be the key in that, to say, sweetie, we're doing great. I to kind of let the woman know and reassure her that everything is still going fine. Do you agree?
Right. I mean, you should check to see women's at. So I would say, I would propose like quarterly. Like again, you don't want to do it too much because again, the man may lock up. And cause if we talk about it too much, hey, how am I doing? We just talked about it last week. So I would propose quarterly to see where we're at. And let me add to what you were saying about the phone call. Like in the beginning of the relationship, right, you go fast because news is exciting, right? You make those calls every day, you check on her all the time and stuff like that. But it's like a new business. You put everything into it in the beginning. But to me, as a relationship matures, right, speed does slow down, right? So it doesn't mean we don't like you guys any less. It's just that, get our focus back. I feel like when you're in a new relationship, you lose your focus. So new, so exciting. But then after a while, you slow it back down. Nothing against you guys. It's just that, hey, we just got our bearings back, right? That, okay, I'm not going to call you every day because, I got other things to do too. And so, and maybe I don't express that enough, and maybe I should, and say, hey, and if I do express it, how do you take it though, right? If I say, hey, let's not call every day now, I got other things to do. And you might be saying, why? We was doing it in the beginning. But again, to me, in the beginning, everything is new, fast, and exciting. And so I just think the relationship, as it matures, it changes the veracity of it.
And I agree with you. I believe every relationship goes through the honeymoon phase. And in the honeymoon phase, like you said, we're, constantly checking in. We're constantly wanting to see. Slow back. I'm going to pull back a little bit from us. It has nothing to do with, just know that we're fine. And I think that would help. Just because, again, you can't go from doing 100 miles an hour now to doing 10 and people not kind of go, okay, what's going on? Is the car breaking down? What happened? So, which is really not what you're saying, but that's what I see, because now I'm not the focus of your life. I'm not where all your attention goes. But I should know that as well as the woman, like, okay, yeah, he has things to do. I have things to do. We at least owe it to the partner to communicate to them what's happening when you do pull back.
Right, D-Love. That's true. You owe it to the partner when you do pull back, but you said, why can't we balance it in the beginning? Anytime you get into any new relationship, I think emotions take over logic, right? Because emotions can control emotions. You're happy, you're excited, you want to be with this person. And it might be somebody who you want to be with for a long time, and you're really excited about this, and you're just showing it. And then once you get your bearings again, you just kind of slow down. Maybe not 10 miles an hour. Maybe it's around 40 or 50 miles an hour that we slow down to. And and maybe I did communicate that too, but the other person is saying, "Hey, don't hear me." I probably have communicated that, and that's against you. And I always say this too. Um, we're in this relationship together. You're always my main focus, regardless of what I'm doing around me. It's just that I got other things to do, but you still my center, my attention is still my main focus at the same time. So just because I slow down doesn't mean my feelings have changed about you. It just means life has come in. We got to do the other things, just like the other person. They have to do other things. I have to be understanding that our whole focus can't always be on me, right? We got to be considerate and kind and understanding to know that she has other things to do in her life too. So, we got to be interdependent of each other, right? We got to, allow each other their own freedom, but know when to come together, when it's time to come together in that relationship. And, express that, she's still your main focus. And hopefully I'm still her main focus.
All right. Well, let me throw this into the equation because this is the new buzz as well that's out there of women over 50. So, women at this age are now starting to think that, maybe we need to hold out sex or not have sex until, we're married, that we need to go back to that because we have, you know, given it away. And if we give it away, men don't respect us or want us, blah, blah. So if we're now talking about this time horizon and that we're not rushing into anything, how does that play? How does the woman who has decided that's where she wants to be, how does that play into her finding that relationship? Did we just make it impossible for her because you're saying men aren't ready to just jump in? They want to kind of, test the waters and make sure it's right. So how does that work in? Would you be in a relationship with a woman who has told you, you know what, I'm done with just having sex with every man that I meet or in a relationship with, and I'm not doing that again. I'll date you until you're ready to marry me, but I'm not gonna have sex with you. How does that really work? We should start doing, but I just want to hear your opinion on that.
You heard me chuckling, right, D-Love?
Oh, yes, T-Rob, I heard the chuckle.
Because I was in a relationship like that, and and that was communicated to me. And at first I said I was fine with that, but it was a problem, right, with that, because there's a couple of problems with that on why I wouldn't wait now, because I thought I could do it, but I'm really attracted to the person I'm with, right? So if I'm really attracted to the person I'm with, I know we're on the podcast, but my body is speaking, and so for us men, if my body is speaking, if I can't get what I need, then I'm hurting too at the same time. And so if you're really attracted to that person, your body gonna speak. And I think it's hard to not have sex before you marry. And another reason why I wouldn't do it too is, even though I did say yeah, I was wrong for saying yes. I don't know, because I just think even at this age, people may say, because I'm not dead yet. You put a mirror to my face, you see the smoke still come on the mirror, right? So I need to know how she is in bed, right? I mean, is she give me her all, or do I got somebody who's not into sex or love, however you want to say it? And so if I marry that person, then I'm stuck. If she's not willing to change, like we just said, she's an old dog. She can't learn new tricks, and then you stuck with that person. Hey, now you pissed at yourself. You might take out on her as well. So I think it's critical to me that you have that sexual intercourse before the relationship. Maybe we in a serious relationship, but maybe not all the time, right? She could just say, hey, okay, get it every so often, maybe once a month, something like that, but once every 2 months, but some, right? At least the guy knows what he's getting, and she knows what she's getting too as well. And if they're compatible to each other in a sexual way, and do they have a sexual connection to as well?
Okay, D-Rob, you brought up a couple of interesting points in that your response. And I'm gonna touch on the first one that really kind of sat with me, where you said that you initially said yes, that you could do
Mm-hmm.
it, but you knew you couldn't. Did you say you knew you couldn't, or you should not have said that? Which
I shouldn't. I shouldn't I had said that, and my body knew I couldn't do it either because, again, like if you're attracted, well, from a man's standpoint, if a man's attracted to a woman, things start to happen to his body, right? That he just can't turn off because if he never had it, it always turns on. It's like, oh my God, I want this woman, and it's hurting him at the same time because he wants her, right? He got to at least have it. At least one time or so, maybe once or twice, so that doesn't happen. I think if he's really turned on by that woman.
So he needs to test the water first to make sure he thinks it's going to be compatible. And then if we're on this time horizon of, we still need to figure out whether, we're compatible or you're the one, then we also then need to have sex sometime throughout that period of time, but not necessarily on a consistent basis. Is that what you're saying would work for you?
Right. I mean, because my body's speaking. It's more than testing. My body's speaking because I'm attracted to that person. I want that person so much, and so at that point, it's not even about testing. It's that I need to have you because are we compatible with each other? Are we compatible with each other? Then it doesn't have to be frequently. But if a woman says, "Hey, I'm not doing it until I get married," then my thought process is like this because it happened with my previous was why you just doing this with me? Because you can be saying to the guy, well, why you start this stuff with me? And you didn't do it in the previous relationship. And this all your mind keep going to. My mind kept going. She didn't do it in the previous, but now she's going to do it with me. Why me? And so why are you the golden child for you to try this test on? And so I think at this age, you don't want to be that guy.
Wow. Okay. So forgive me for laughing. But I get what you're saying, but again, I hear a lot on, the YouTube channels and all the things that I'm listening to now, where, women are saying they want to wait until marriage. And you're right. I don't know if that's easier to do when you're younger or whatever, but um, I'm also hearing from men, especially at our age, that that's not happening for the reason that you just talked about, meaning that all this time you were having sex and in relationships and things like that, and now all of a sudden you want to stop with me when I'm sitting here telling you that I want, to be with you. So, but what do you think about the impact that sex does play in a relationship? Meaning that should we not necessarily wait until marriage, but should we at least wait until we know that this is a solid relationship? It's not just something, because I truly believe that sex does change the way you look at a relationship. It either binds you closer or it has a
Right.
different, it adds a different draw to it. And I sometimes think that it should be a waiting period until we both can say, outside of sex, are you fulfilling me in all the other ways that I need to be fulfilled in a relationship? Because it's easy to go to sex to cover the gaps that are missing. But if you don't have that, I think it kind of gives you more time to really look at the person, see what they're like, and then sex would be the added benefit versus the fill in for the gaps that are missing.
Well, good point, D-Love. But I don't think when you see somebody you date at this age, you're not asking for the sex on the first day or even the first week. So I think it does build up, and you are doing those things where she sees who you are. I see who she is and stuff as time go on, and so I don't see sex as filling in the gap. I see it as we're trying to connect more with each other through it, become stronger spiritually from it too as well, right? Because we're connecting with each other. And I think and after we done it, it's not like I was like, okay, let me go home after we did it and stuff like that. No, it's not that because we're into that serious relationship now. So I feel like there's no gaps. It's just that you just need to have it with your partner at some point, and you don't want to be the guy who she comes to and say, "Hey, I'm waiting till I'm married." Because for me, now I know I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm not gonna take that risk of waiting to get married because I can't wait that long. I need to connect with her on that level before we tie the knot.
Interesting. And so the other point,
Go ahead.
The other point that I got from your original comment is that we do sometimes say things that we really don't mean. I think there's a song, "Bring Your Loving
Mm.
Back to Me." I can't sleep, babe. But we say things that we really don't mean, not maliciously. So meaning when you said yes, I can wait. I'm sure you meant that at the time that you said it, and then over time you realize, oh no, this isn't what I thought I could do. And so it kind of goes back again to what I keep thinking is the most important thing in these in relationships at this age is the communication. It's so important, and I really hope we hear this, that it's so important that we find a way to talk to each other. Because if I can't truly express to you how I feel, if I'm supposed to love you, you have to have those hard conversations. If I can't talk to the man that I am saying I'm in love with and I want to spend my life with, and I can't tell him that, I don't like the crust between his toes, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's like, what, we can't walk around on the fluff of this thing. We're talking about intertwining lives. We're talking about intertwining money and families and our past. And we can't have the hard conversations about the things that we don't like, we can't do, we're not comfortable with. Then what that says to me, that's not that person for you. And we really need to have those conversations quickly and early. Because again, if I know you love me, I know I should know that this is coming from a place of love, that you're telling me this stuff not easily, because it's not easy for you to say, hey, D Love, I think you need to, put on a different deodorant because I don't think that you're smelling nicely today. You should be able to have those conversations, and I don't. We know how to do that.
Well, D Love, if I say, hey, I don't like the dress you have on, when you look at past, even from your parents and stuff, they always say, don't always say what you mean, because, especially to the woman, because she doesn't take it well. She take it as a negative connotation and stuff like that. Sometimes the woman allow you to have those honest conversations and stuff. And because I call it constructivisms, and she may call it a negative criticism, which has happened to me in the past. And it's almost like you got to walk on eggshells on what you don't like and like about that person. Also, too, I realize on both ends of the spectrum, this is how you say it to that person. Now, if I'm saying, hey, that's a ugly old-fashioned dress, and you look fat in it, that's the wrong way to express yourself, right? So I should be constructive on how I say it, but if I am constructive on how I say it, saying it to that person, and she still take it negative, then it makes you withdraw back because you don't know how to communicate to that person, because whatever you say to her is always taken as a negative criticism as opposed to a constructive criticism.
And D Rob, I totally agree that there is a time and place for everything. Meaning, you don't tell me you don't like my dress as we're getting in the car to go to the event, because now there's nothing I can do about it. I can't go back in the house and change. So it wouldn't be productive for you to tell me that. But if you don't tell me at some point, sweetie, I had a great time the other night, blah, blah, blah. What that dress you wore, you should take that out of your rotation because it doesn't flatter your body because you know how sexy you are. But that just didn't make you look as sexy as I like. So, whatever. Somehow you need to tell me that, because when I wear it again, I don't know that's how you feel about it. I'm thinking I look cute in this dress because, again, I didn't put it on because I thought it looked ugly, right? So
Right.
without you telling me that maybe that's not the one for you, I don't know that. And again, if you love me, and I know, I've heard men say that their women don't dress the way they want them to, and I ask them, do you tell them that? Oh no, I don't know how to tell. What do you mean you don't know how to tell somebody you're laying with, sharing your life with, that you don't like something about them? What does that say about your relationship if you can't even talk about the clothes they wear? We're not talking about personality. We're talking about clothes. And At this stage of life, if we can't have these honest conversations, but you as my man, I want you to be able to say, you know what, that doesn't compliment your butt. And you know how much I like your butt. The key to me in communication is to remember where it's coming from. This person loves me. And if he doesn't like this dress on me, I may love it to death. But and then I love him. Then why would I then not take that out of my closet, give it to Goodwill, and be done with it? Oh, she got that ugly dress on again. But you never told me it was ugly. If I'm laying with you and sharing my life with you, I should be able to talk to you about all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly. I shouldn't be tiptoeing around anything. We should be able to have the conversations in a, like you say, mature manner at the right time, at the right tone, all of that. And yes, know that it's going to hurt me because no one wants to be told what they're doing is not pleasing, correct. But also know that in order for me to change, I have to know. And until I know, you can't expect me then to make a change or judge me because I haven't.
True. And since D-Love, you was talking about that dress so much, uh, what I came to conclusion was years ago was, because somebody came to me one time and says, because I was always just say that about the person I was dating, man, I just don't like what she got on and stuff and that. I'm not sure if it was an uncle of mine or older friend of mine, but somebody said, well, if you don't like what she has on, then why don't you take her shopping? So what I have done, if I don't like some of my spouse have, I would take her shopping and show her things that she should be wearing that I like, that I think will express who she is and how she looks. And I felt like, that has worked for me in the past and still that kind of works for me now if I don't like something about what the person is wearing. And I think I'm always trying to be honest with that person. Again, it's not about hurting their feelings and stuff like that, because maybe they don't see themselves as that sexy person and whatnot, but you see that, you know what I mean? Because you're looking from the outside, she's on the inside, so she can't really see who she is. And so sometimes you have to take that person somewhere to make her see it. And sometimes she eventually sees it, right? So, oh, wow, you was right, that I do look great in this outfit or what have you. And so I think, again, the proof is in the pudding. If the man love that person, then he's going to take her shopping and show her what she would look good in. And so in that dress would never happen again, I feel like.
I agree because I think that's what we are kind of talking about too, that when you love somebody, you will do the new trick. You will do the thing that they're saying they're desiring. And if it's as simple as not wearing this dress, then it's easy. It's like, okay, I love you. I don't love this dress. I love you. This dress doesn't take me out on the weekends. The dress doesn't, tell me how nice I am. The dress doesn't hold my hand. So I'm willing to let go of the dress. But if you never tell me that the dress is an issue, then I'm going to keep doing it. And then you're going to continue to have those thoughts inside. Like, why doesn't she see it? Why doesn't she get it? Why doesn't she understand? Doesn't she know that I need, my head rubbed? Or doesn't she know I want her to touch me on my knee when we're watching TV? So you need to, at all times, find ways to express how you feel. And I don't know if that's when you sit down on that quarterly checkup when we're talking about how we're doing, and that's when we like, okay, we're going to have our honest moments, or maybe we have some words or triggers or something that we say, okay, this is when we're going to sit down and just kind of put it out there. And then know, again, I think if we understand where it's coming from, that it's coming from love and not resentment and not trying to get back at you or not, any of those negative places, then we have to become comfortable with taking that, because this is the person you've said that you want to be with. And don't you want them to be the best version of themselves and you to bring the best version of yourself to the relationship? And we don't always know what that is for the other person. And so we have to be willing to look at what they want and see if you can bring that to the table, and then know if this is the person you want to be with.
That's true. You want, again, going back to that dress, you're just going to take the person out and show them a better outfit. And because you're being honest with them, but at the same time you're being caring by showing them that you're taking time out to go with them to show them what's a better outfit for them. So you always, because you are doing it from a place of love, you always are being honest. Because again, part of a relationship is you want a relationship, you want honesty. So you are always being honest with your will, and you're always telling them the things that you want from them, and vice versa. But I cannot tell you, and nor do I would want to tell you, is if we're sitting down watching TV, I want your hand on my knee. No, I'm not gonna tell you that. You gotta want to do that. I shouldn't have to tell you put your hand on my knee or not. I'm not gonna tell you that because I feel like that should be if you love me enough, you will want to do those things to make me happy,
And
and vice versa.
D-Rob, I so disagree with you on that because I think that is one of the other issues of relationships is that I don't know. And it's not that I don't want to touch you, but what I'm saying is that for you, when we're sitting watching TV, just that touch for you is like it's your way of connecting. For me, I'm thinking I'm watching TV. You're sitting right here next to me. Why do I need to touch you? And you're thinking to yourself, if she really cared about me, she'd touch me. I don't know that. That's not what my brain, what my history, what my thinking tells me. My thinking tells me we're in the room together, we're sitting down next to each other. That is enough. That shows that I care, I want to be with him. And you're saying to yourself, man, if she would just stroke me between commercials, I'd be happy. I don't know that. All you have to do is tell me, sweetie, when we're sitting down watching TV, I would really like for us to connect a little bit more. Or, and I get the key too is showing, but showing doesn't always tell because that just tells me what you like to do to me. That doesn't necessarily says that's what you want me to do to you. So again, I think it all goes back to this communication. You do have to tell me what you like. You shouldn't have to keep telling me what you like, but you do have to tell me because D-Rob, I don't know you. I didn't know you for the past 50 years. I only know me, what I want, what I like, what I desire. I don't know yours.
Right, D Love. Great point, but I believe in spontaneity in a relationship too. So if I tell you to put that hand on my knee, now I'm wondering, is she just doing it because I asked her to? Is she doing it because she wants to? So that's going back and forth in my mind. So that's the reason why I would want to tell you stuff like that. Now,
So D-Rob, you don't want to tell me what it's going to take to make you happy? Really?
well, because I feel like acting, right? You might make a good Meryl Streep. Because I told you that, you put your hand on my knee and whatnot. So now I'm wondering, she just did it because I told her this is what I wanted. So again, that kind of stuff I probably would never tell you what you should do. Now, I'm a hugger, so I love hugs. So stuff like that, I probably would tell you, hey, I love hugs. And you may not be a hugger, right? And so stuff like that, I probably tell you because I think eventually the person who doesn't like hugs will come around and start liking hugs or kisses. You know what I mean?
Oh, so we going to pick and choose what we tell the other person we want and need.
Well,
Okay.
I think they love that's on. Can't just nitpick and say, hey, you're not touching my knee, all that kind of stuff. You gotta have some spontaneity in a relationship, put some freshness into it.
But then I
So
could be
newness.
hugging you just to hug you.
Well, I don't think so. I think usually a person usually comes around and they start to like the hugs too. And then when you start hugging a person, they be asking you, what happened to the hugs? So, but I just don't, I wouldn't want to take out the spontaneity. We start watching TV. Now, I know D-Love's going to put her hand on my thing. Maybe I want some excitement. Maybe I want D-Love to surprise me to some degree on some things and stuff like that. I shouldn't have to tell her everything, and she shouldn't have to tell me everything what she like. But I think the most critical parts, yes, maybe you have some things that you want of me, but I know for me, and maybe I wouldn't say, put your hand on my knee. I would say, maybe, sweetie, you just need to be more affectionate. I don't feel like you've been affectionate enough. And I am an affectionate person.
D-Rob, I want to thank you so much for this conversation. I want our audience to know and to understand. We love to hear your comments. We realize that we are not professionals at recording, so the quality may not be right, say everything perfectly. Because the key at the end of this, guys, is that we're trying to determine how we can have the loving relationships that we all want. So D-Rob, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
And thank you, D Love, for having me on your show.
I wish you peace and D-Love.